Shabbat Shalom to Moses Montefiore friends. We are going to talk about fences. Good fences make good neighbors. I'm standing right next to a fence here in a house in Philadelphia. And this week's parsha talks about fences. This week's parsha says that if you have a house with a flat roof, actually the house that we're staying in this Shabbat has a flat roof, you have to have a fence around it, and it's called a ma'aka. And it says if you don't, you'll be liable for the death or the injury of the person who falls off of the roof. Torah law. Now that is called a ma'aka. There's another kind of fence which we see in Pirkei Avot, which is called a siyag. It says asu siyag laTorah. You should make a fence around the Torah. Why different words? Does the Torah not, and does Judaism not have enough ways to say the word fence once? Why do we have to say it two different ways? Here's the answer, I think. A siyag, a fence around the Torah, keeps bad stuff out of the Torah. It's to tell us we make extra laws so that we don't break the rules of the Torah, protecting the Torah. It's like making it a safer Torah. But a ma'aka doesn't protect the roof. It protects you from falling off the roof. It stops you from something bad happening to you. Little story. I don't know if this story is true, but I've heard this story. For those of you who live in Baltimore, which is all of us, you know if you go to the harbor, there's no fence. When our kids were little, I hated going to the harbor because I was always afraid our children would fall off because there was no fence protecting them. I've heard a story that there was a girl who got engaged and she was walking with her in-laws who she just met that day, and she fell off into the harbor because there was no fence that day. I close my eyes, I picture it, it's definitely true. What does that mean? That means that the people who made the harbor thought about the beauty of the harbor. They thought about all kinds of things about how to make money in the harbor, how many people will come to the harbor, but they didn't think about how to protect the people who came. The Torah says you have to make a ma'aka, and if you don't think about how to protect people, it's your problem, it's your fault. You're the one who did it, not the person who falls. Yes, they are responsible, but you're the one who didn't think ahead. We need to think ahead. Now, if you look in every synagogue that I've ever been to, they have something called a bima where you read the Torah, and there is a ma'aka. Go look at your synagogue, at your shul this Shabbat, and you will see almost all of them, unless there's not an elevated bima. If it's just right on the floor, there's not. But an elevated bima always has a fence because of this halacha, something to remind us that we need to look out for others. A ma'aka is a fence to protect others. A siyag is a fence to protect the Torah. Shabbat Shalom.